Okay, thank you so much. Ya, kata mi by mi sit down ya. All man and ni by me bagrab little bit ya. So thank you so much now, MC and Director of Arts and Program, Law USB. First of all, want a word of thanks, Director of USB Center, Honiara, Dr. Billy Fito, and then Director of Arts Program, USB Center, Honiara, Mr. Calvin Rohrer. What a all hand blow me for USB. I think Speaker of House, I'm smile too because me for everyone all hand love super what few years ago, yeah. Okay, and then staff of USB Center, Honiara, thank you very much. Suppose you here. Thanks very much for welcome. Then students of USB Center, thanks for your coming here to be part of this. And then other esteemed colleagues in attendance here. Thank you so much now for you all come here. And this is also Director of Program Him Talem, first seminar or presentation this was serious now, yeah. Now him tell him time asking me for to talk. Him say, okay, all right, by me come say 2 or 3 words also, yeah. And I feel very privileged to be here, yeah, to come to this fellow to present here, yeah. Okay, this fellow presentation, him triggered by the experience overseas, yeah. Then we start in America also, yeah. Plan the time we go to a conference, but the people say, where are you from? Would ask him. Then we say, me below Solomon Islands. Then we say, oh yeah, Samoa. We say, no. Solomon different from Samoa. He said, oh yeah, Somalia. We say, no, Somalia below Africa. Yeah. Solomon also, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of confusion, conflating more the names. Yeah. Me said, no, Solomon. Yeah. He said, oh, okay. Then we said, but you must be the only Solomon under America, yeah. Me said, I don't know, because I mean, hem stereotype, yeah. Every time people no look at you, would think you must be immigrant, yeah. I mean, this kind, yeah. So, blood everywhere we go, look at the conference, also me, I would say, you belong, also me. So, there's this stereotyping that you must be immigrant, you must be a diasporic member of community, yeah. So, the enemy say, hey, I think that me, but you every time would ask me, so, how no also me? Me say, well, how? Somebody like you first saw me run into now. I would say also. Me say, well, that's very good. Then thank you, very good. But it happened so much. I would ask him questions so much that me said, I think I need to find some answers for myself here, for giving people time would asking me questions because me don't got him answer. Yeah, I mean I have my answers, you know. But me turn around, me look back a lot of science for helping me for put some answers together. So I'm not this whole presentation here. So in many ways, I'm work in progress, yeah, like a research in progress. I'm not finished. So just to give you a bit of background, why I'm also when me putting this talk together, yeah. And so because of any kind talk me run into, people asking me. Several questions we start for asking me, why does someone seem to be a little affected by transnational migration diaspora, like compared with other Pacific Island countries here, especially Micronesia and Polynesia here. What are migrate to us here? International migration rate and diasporic settlement block, and him higher than you, him much higher than you, me. That's also me. And then another question me asking him, does the question ever occur to you? I mean, like, as me ask him about Solomon Islands here. Every time, especially time we start to New Zealand, we move come to New Zealand and Fiji, me ask him what the students below me say, how? What people are asking me this whole question too? People asking me, yeah. But yeah, sometimes people asking me, and say, okay. So him now me start to try to do some research on him, yeah. And then why do people migrate like general more? Why not people move all about to say, why is that? What are the positive effects of transnational migration, if any? Also, are there any? So, what are the negative effects of transnational migration, if any? So, what the question was asking me about whether you me below Samoa or Somalia or someone, I now me put together under this fellow over the points here to sort of like ask him science for helping me put some answers together, or maybe some responses rather than answers here. Also. Okay, so this will talk, a brief talk, and it is an academic or scientific discussion of one of the world's oldest activities here, in which humans continuously participate in him. Start come long time too much now, and have no finish yet. I mean, it's hard to imagine that migration, transnational migration, by him finish. It cannot yet. By him go ahead all the way now, yeah. And so it's something that it deserves academic, scientific attention, yeah, because him happened now. And then we say here, talk him towards greater understanding of phenomenon, yeah, from the perspective of someone's indigenous epistemology, hermeneutics, and social ontology. And when I'm not placed for someone, what a big words here, but indigenous epistemology, because I'm like area below me, like me use him because it's the framework, the perspective, standpoint, where me analyze him of the issues of the world, the society. But I mean him theorizing knowledge no more. Not what you for looking at, so when I'm not epistemology, this means knowledge. What a Greek word here, so, but as by you, when you go higher in academia or higher education than you run across all the words also. Me just introduce him here. Make him you hermeneutics, interpretation. So and social ontology, when are you stop? What's our earth? When I'm not earth, do you mean? And then me say here, talk is not necessary to solve a problem, yeah, but rather address or examine this whole curiosity here. Every time people asking me question here, me curious. So talk it's not to give answers here, but to just try and answer this whole curiosity here. All right, so if you look, if you study migration or diasporic literature, four groups here, or four categories. I'm not going to put migration under, or transnational migration, or transnational diasporic movement here. One first one, not first, but one victim diaspora. Another one, trading diaspora. Then third one, imperial diaspora, and then last one, labor diaspora. Yeah. So, all the people who are going to study something here, what migration and movement of human beings here, or what to find them or identify them, this what the fourfold categories here we're going to put under. So, when you travel somewhere, more than likely, you're traveling somewhere and fall under one of these here, whether I'm victim, trading, imperial, or labor migration here. Also me, same 3, 4, 5 there. So suppose you say, oh me, was it supposed to me go school or overseas, Australia or Canberra or even USB? More than likely him come under labor because like it's migration also me. All right, or sometimes suppose you go overseas for training or something like trades also here. More than likely, you have me come under trading here also. Victims, but by me come to as we move along. So when you may ask is when I'm not got a four categories here. Me explain him here. First one, a victim diaspora. A class of people banished from their place of origin, send them out and sent to another land, usually the result of a traumatic events or some traumatic consequences, whether him conquest or persecution or genocide or enslavement also. So victim, I mean victim. Blackbirding blue him come under this one. Then what people blue him, what take him go of Queensland for labor, sugarcane. Him come under law here. So so we were victim of an international diaspora that you may not make him. We didn't create it. Somebody not him create him, then we become part of it. You may participate in this diaspora movement here. Then number two, him trading diaspora. About the community, often members of an extended family that goes abroad to conduct trade in that society. And then we say here, they receive permission from host government. You must get him permission, also visa blue you, also and learn the local language, customs. But usually people there no assimilate here. They do not really assimilate. We give him several examples here, like Jewish. Chinese solo. Sometimes people ask questions, why not what Chinese say? And this is not an insult to Chinese. I don't mean that. I'm just giving you the example that they fall, or the Chinese community fall under this trading diaspora. Yeah. So it's not, I hope it's not insulting. But because like sometimes people say, what happened? They keep to themselves. Oh no, you go buy him loaf bread, store, give him, you sell him, take him bread, what no, you know. Also, that's what it means here. What no really assimilate here, because they are here not to assimilate here, not to become native here, not to be localized here. They keep their tradition, their culture, but all here for trading purposes here. What they run in stores also be Fiji, you look him also and Samoa, Tonga, and other parts of the Pacific here. Arabs, Indians. Sometimes you may say people are India to Muslim. You know, also me. That's here because of this one here. They do not really want to assimilate. They keep their custom. All right. Then number 3, Imperial Diaspora here. And this one has to go with migrants or to go to another land that has been conquered by their own nation. Also me. And they enjoy a high status on account of their ethnic ties to the ruling power here. And they also, number 2, they also do not really adapt to local customs. No, really adapt to it. Instead, you mean local people now, you mean adapt them custom law. So like colonization, the British come here. You mean like him custom law, you mean adopt him. But what no really barava adopt him custom law, you mean? 2-3 no more, the local girl also here. But otherwise, they keep to themselves here. So also, whereas you want them learn him English also, you want him go to school, you may want him driving car, you may want him build him nice house also. Means you may adapt to it here. You may adapt to their custom, their modernization, you may call him here. All right? And also, and then indentured servants, labor migrants, what part of this imperial diaspora here. Then number 4, last one, labor diaspora here. Indentured servants and labor migration, forced labor migration. Also, what Solomons take them go to Queensland here for blackbirding here. And then what India, what British take them come from India, come work the sugarcane plantation law, Fiji here. That one part of this labor diaspora here. Right? Should I go on, or people, or should we leave room for comments, or afterwards? Afterwards. Okay, all right. Okay, diaspora, when I come from, originally what I identify with the Jews here, this was a dispersion of Jews here from Israel, or to go around long desert here, long wilderness on same here. Initially, what I identify with something here, we talk Jews here, and the mass dispersion of population of its original indigenous territory, dispersion of people from the original homeland, relocation, resettling, immigration, exodus, what Jews exodus here, this one here. And then reason for mass dispersal, as we say, varies greatly, whether maybe because of war, religious persecution, education, search for a better life, also curiosity about what lie beyond the horizon here. You mean human beings, you mean curious to much here. You may not want him to stop celebrity. Something, if you hear him up something somewhere, you may want to go find out. We have an inquisitive mind here. We're very curious. And then famine or catastrophe also. All right? But despite for something here, for group here, me, on my analysis, me say, yes, those are true. But the diaspora, this movement here from one place to the next. Human beings now, blood now. Like every human being, we have this. It's call him like inextricably human here. For example, this out of Africa theory. So let's say you start come from Africa here. So this movement, the need to move from some place for whatever reason. So we don't have to create labor force. We don't have to create victim also to move. It is within us. Lo yumi now. All right? Then we say here, evolutionary paradigm here, different stages of human evolution here, like Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, sapiens, human beings here. It's part of us. Okay, and then this diasporic spiritual or mentality here, him led to peopling of the world here, with this idea for move, with this urge here, this innate need to find out somewhere, to go somewhere. Without that, I think world blow you may have no populate here. But people stop looking at respective areas look at no more. But because of this spirit, this diasporic spirit here, mentality here, now go you may discover every group like including Imilo Solo here or Pacific here. You may come from Southeast Asia here. It must be this, so people no move for nothing here. Well, if there is no catastrophe for making people move here. You know, I mean, you may being also sometimes you may lose interest or stop one place now. Me lesna, me want go to Fiji. Me les, me want go maritime one for go Roviana, make me move go Roviana from Makira. We have that. We have that innate movement here. And then discovery and settlement of new lands. One me call him here globalization, global na yeah. And then example, no, this will Trans-Asia Pacific diaspora, you may come here, Pacific and Solomons, and we come about 40 to 6,000 years ago, according to archaeologists and people there. So, you may know why now people you may come from Southeast Asia. But what come from there, I mean, so it's part of this diasporic movement now, people say, I think tribal warfare, or maybe some fellow, like for discover no more what come. Yeah, whatever the reason. But human beings, we have this urge, we have this crave, we have this craziness to go find him something new. All right? And then European, you may read him the book, or got him this one what comes the age of reason, you may reason, yeah. When him now, why now? For example, before Thomas come, what I say, what do you mean? Earth na him stop still. Then sun na him go around him. Go big boss below Italy, Galileo, and build him telescope na him. Say no more. Sun na him stop still. Earth na him go around. This kind of, we have this mind. I mean, in other words, it has to do with education. Our yearning for education. I mean, you follow here, you got school or still school here. Why? Why do you want him education here? Why is that? I'm come from this whole diasporic mentality for movement here. Then suppose you ask him, why do you want school here? Say, because me like him degree, making me find him job here. Well, that's part of it. That's the superficial explanation. But you wanted to come to school, take him degree on me, much deeper than just say make him take him good job, buy him house, buy him 3 falaka or 4 falaka or aeroplane also me. This kind of stuff. And then a major paradigm shift here, inextricably tied to human inclination for or curiosity about finding what now him lie beyond the horizon here. When I'm not there. Okay, there is one island here, what to call him Savo. But me no Savo, when I'm not Savo here. Next time by be paddle go here. This kind of overall curiosity here. That's what help him for expand our minds here. Suppose you mean no garments kind here, but you mean I think you mean ignorant or say, well, I'm no word below him also. All right? And then major discoveries of new lands, wealth, etc., paved the way for this diaspora, whether through colonization or other social forces here. All right? And then we say here the diaspora or migration, diasporic movement, true of all human beings here, every human culture groups, him logata. You may run it. It's, in other words, diasporic movement, pan-human, every human group inside it. And then we say here, it occurs with greater intensity today may happen much more often because of technology, advancement in technology, and transporting him easy. I mean, like today, you stop, you go Air Pacific or Air Solaire. Next hour, you somewhere now. Scania. Also, expand him this diasporic mentality blue yimi. We don't think about it. I mean, why should we think about it? Suppose you want to go to Suva, you go to Suva no more. Or you want to go to Auckland, you go to Auckland. Not thinking about more, but I got a crazy academic. No, look beyond that here. They have not this kind of. And then some fellow people say that, or some researchers say that diaspora have got in both negative and positive aspects here. Both negative positive, yeah. Depending, of course, on one's point of view. I mean, it may not be to you. Somebody might say that it's, yes, both negative and positive. Okay, when I'm not meaning by negative, yeah, negative aspects now, when I'm what call him brain drain, yeah. I think you've all heard him all the way, yeah. Oh, Solomon is saying brain drain now. What educated and skilled people migrate overseas, depriving home country of the knowledge base necessary for national development. For example, domestic high unemployment rate. What people got him degrees. Suppose me taplo Honiara, well, no, it job man. High employment rate, yeah, degree blow me by him waste no more. So I got to go somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it happens here. Go also people also Billy Fito and Calvin, or what come back. Me from somewhere. What to go? Hey, you mean go home? And, yeah, that's right. Sometimes people come back here. I mean, I'm a victim of that here. After 40 years, in America, I'm saying, go back nafuna. Nafuna for leave now, me go back home. And so that's negative aspects here. Then positive aspects, when I would call him brain gain. Former migrants return to home country with new skills and knowledge necessary for development. So two aspects. Yeah, also balance him two yeah. Negative and positive yeah. Suppose negative no more by him no balance yeah. And suppose positive no more him no balance. So two balance him in one. All right, so that's sort of like the general background about the diaspora now, yeah, transnational migration. Yeah. Now me present him some of data blue email or solo. I mean, from my own research. Yeah. Like me say, it's a work in progress here. Yeah. All right, so let me look at him. Okay, Solomon Islands data him say that unlike situation in other Pacific countries here, especially Micronesia and Polynesia, rate below Solomon Islands engaging in international diaspora him low, him no much high, him low. By him come go why is it a good thing or a bad thing? By him talk about, or maybe I leave it for you fellow for talk story about. And then we say here the similar data have been reported for other Micronesian Melanesian countries, also Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, and New Caledonia. I think Fiji him diasporic movement rate him high a little bit, especially after what the coups here, the 1980s here, the migrate a bit more. But Fiji has always been part of this transnational migration or diasporic movement, much more than Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, Solomon Islands. I mean, always has been more that way. Yeah. Then we say here, what I'm talking about here, diaspora, not to be confused or conflated with internal or local migration mobility, like you may move from one island to the next year. That one, I'm always partly you mean now. People partly from Kanu Blokat for come from Ulawa, Golo, Santa Ana, or people from Roviana, Padel Kamlo, Isabel, for headhunting or whatever, but that kind of movement here. This what I'm talking about here, diaspora, international here. I mean, international or transnational phenomenon here. Okay, so some visible dimensions. I'm got him two here. Two layers here, diaspora here. And we say here, previous studies have argued for the following as some of the reasons for low rate of external or global diaspora among Solomon Islands here. One file now got say you mean no move about because we have strong ties to tribe and clan. You mean you got him this one. You mean very fixed on clan. You mean so you mean no need for travel. Yeah, you go there where you know got him tribe you. But who know by look after you. So you say you mean fixed on tribe. Yeah. Then strong ties to custom and culture. So you mean custom him strong. So somehow you may not need him for go anywhere or seek something else. When your root him firmly grounded, so you no need for go around here. Then him say here strong ties to land. Yeah, you mean land lo here now. Suppose me go lo Vanuatu, I mean no garim land lo there. Or suppose me go lo Auckland, or suppose me go lo Queensland. By me liu here because me no garim land lo there. Yeah. So these kinds of thinking here. Some of him have got him an influence on thinking. So you may not really need for move here. Or strong ties to village. Yeah, village, but me like him too much here. Like every time Christmas, me load him sheep, me go home. Strong ties to village now, yeah. Also me. Or sometimes you may give him excuse no for go home, yeah. So uncle him sick. Uncle is sick all no more. They don't want him to go home no more, yeah. But it shows a tie, strong ties. And sometimes you mean people lie for me go home here because tribe me got a rawa. Also me. But it is so strong that you may lie on behalf of blood, believe me. Okay? So what all these have to do is the power of blood ties. Blood, believe me, really strong tie. So sometimes you may have to lie a little bit to go home, but it has to do with the power of blood ties. Is that making sense? Right? And then some fellow argue too, some fellow researchers argue that island Loima got big here, with lots of space for internal migration and mobility. So you have no need for go about. I mean, compared with say Samoa or Niue or Nauru, with small islands here. I mean, like whereas got island Loima big. So you may no need for go around. I mean, if you know say Sikiana or Renbel or Luangiwa, also or Tikopia or Anuta. No matter how small, say within the range of what big islands. So time what I said Anuta got a tied a little bit for Staplo Island, got to come Temotu, also me. So there's big land mass here. And then we say, other than Malaita, population growth is not seen as serious concern here. Also, like I think population by him is 700,000 here. So in many ways, it's not serious here. Then we say, except for Malaita, I mean, because of what's in Malaita, him crowded, him like population by him big to us. Let me say, except for Malaita, the carrying capacity of most islands is still below critical level here. Also, several people by South Lom say, hey, you man. You know, liar, something in Malaita, you go there, no in a place for make guardian now. Also me. But it's not critical yet. I mean, I'm also speaking from standpoint of living abroad for plenty of time and looking when you talk about critical, something critical, him baram now. For example, now, like you sometimes I say, me feel hungry now. Or you may got some homeless people here. Anytime anybody him tell me that you may got him homelessness lo here, me say no more. You may no got him. Anybody him homeless him sit on low bisa low road him aso selen yeah. Him pretend yeah. Him look him no more video yeah. There is no one in the Solomons but him go hungry. Anybody him go hungry, him lazy yeah. Because land blew him stop. Capacity him stop. So sometimes me look him several people, oh man also now. Me will not got him area for Gorom Taro now. Suppose you know have Gorom Taro, Kasavalo, Gilbert Camp, then go home. Also, this kind of. So all this is to say that the carrying capacity of Blogot Island Blue is him good yet. Himself accommodate him this whole population Blue Yimi 700,000 yeah. So Yimi all right yet. All right. Okay, so that one now. Then. Of the visible dimension of something migration here. Okay, then you got him, when we call him hidden dimensions of low rate of some others in transnational diaspora, him two fale, visible or hidden and unhidden. And this one, him hidden one. Yeah. Okay, so land, you look him visible, carrying capacity, stuck a room for planting cassava yet. Then there's some invisible thing more where you may not touch him. Also, yeah. Then we say here one phenomena, him lingering negative impact of colonization. Him especially racism here. That time may affect him. has a sort of a discouraging impact on him, or not discouraged, not motivated me before go overseas because different experience here, colonial here, okay, like self-respect and dignity here. Then during research here, one fellow, old lady, me asking him, also him now when him telling me, him say, why go overseas and have yourself stripped of your self-respect and dignity through racism when you can live comfortably on your land with your family and tribe with your self-respect and dignity intact? I mean, that speaks, I think, overall about why you mean to migrate here. My name is me 86 years time interview him here. He said, why go overseas? I mean, like, when you don't know what's over there, what's waiting for you, Honiara, India. But you go, when I'm not by, who know by feeding you. So, have not me use him quote here to elaborate more on this fellow point about migration. Why not you miss all on the migrate here? Okay? And then going overseas, data him say that going overseas to a foreign country for apparently no good reason is tantamount to giving oneself to racial and other equal treatment. You miss all we're very sensitive people about behavior towards us. Me find him myself, oh no, okay, me married Losamo, okay, let's put it that way. Okay, Sama, but migrate all over no way. Come to Oakland, States, California, on same year. And some, not to denigrate, not to say, but I'm just making comparison. Some knows how we speak English here. What go no more, yeah? But you will solo no more, yeah? Everyone you meet him overseas here, what speak very good English here. So it shows that, suppose you know speak English here, but why not you go to England or Australia because language blogger there? So it's. This is what I'm saying, that there are some differences between Emil Solo and other countries of the Pacific for joining this migration here. Right? Several reasons why no seem important or big, but very important. They have an equally effective impact on how you may decide on whether you may go overseas here. And then several even talk about immigration procedures here. Example, getting your passport, visa. They would say, why spend time and money on this when the benefits waiting on the other side or the other end cannot be guaranteed here? Several also say, why waste himself on why don't you waste himself on the visa when you don't know what's over there, waiting at the other end? You might as well just use himself in there for buy him something in the house. Also, yeah. And then several even say how to behave in a foreign country, yeah? Because time you go, you behave also custom, yeah? Then I was by you go there, behave it by what looks like bagaya come from somewhere, I'm immigrant here, I'm diaspora here. You mean so I'm very, very sensitive to these issues here. Which I say I think that's kind of nice. Because we don't engage participate in this international diaspora blindly when some of us go overseas. They do it with very clear ideas, lots of thinking about, and not just next time you want to go overseas, no more you go. No more. It's like some case with some countries like the Pacific. Yeah. Okay. Then one for something language sensitivity here. Most Samoaners believe that how one is treated has much to do with one's command of language here, whether English or some other language. Several student people may meet them overseas here. Well, no, from Pacific countries. I want to speak English here. I mean, speak English, but I'm going to go yet here. Miss this one, me follow solo, no more, I'm different here. We must speak good English here. Again, it has to do with communication, but also has to do with the fact that you mean independent people. And knowing how to speak a language makes you independent, rely on some fella. So you go to a shop, you say, when him know something him tell him, when I'm not label here, which I've seen here, some fella. You go to shopping, say, what look him say, excuse, label? Water or what? We don't want that. We want to be independent. When we go shopping, we want to be on our own. We want to decide for ourselves. So let me say, language sensitivity is very important for decide on whether to participate in this international diasporic movement. Yeah. So we say for these reasons, the very small number of Samoans in diaspora usually have some level of formal education, and fluency in a foreign language such as English. There is no, if suppose you meet him otherwise, from my experience traveling overseas, and I have not come across a Solomon Islander in diaspora who have no savvy speak English. I haven't come across that. Whereas I have come across many of them from other parts of the Pacific. So these say something of Solomon Islanders. They have values. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be like shamed. Mm-hmm. All right. So there's that. And now predicted future trends. Let me say here, during and after ethnic conflict there were predictions in the literature that Solomons would experience heightened participation in international diaspora. So by also Fiji, time got Kublo, got stuck go overseas. Then some were doing research and from overseas, we got to write about this conflict by Yumi. We got to make a theory, we got to predict here. So after this year, by not Solomon, but stuck Solomons were got educated especially, they got to move overseas here. Because they also like educated Solomons who would be primary participants in this theory or prediction leading to one me call him earlier on this brain drain phenomenon here. Well, it didn't happen. Him not happen. Again, say something about you, me, because there's enough cause to go away. This was ethnic tension. Also in Fiji, coups also here. But you may run away, go home a little bit no more. Leave him something, but then you may come back solo no more. 2, 3 no more got to go overseas. But you usually got to go work on him, pick him up all here. Also me. But to go overseas because of this tension as the reason, primary reason, I mean happen lo yemi. So something about Samoans that me look at him different. All right. Okay, and that Samoans deprived of knowledge base, critical for national development. I mean, this for writings for overseas now, like literature, and that Samoans would plunge into an abyss of incurable corruption, abject poverty, incurable heightened intergroup hostility, or general state of social enemy. If you read him literature, below. During about tension, but you find him this kind but people making prediction also Him no happen to you after ethnic tension, everything back to normal. Again, say something about you that we adjust to conditions rather well. Okay. All right. Him say white collar corruption, but not okay. You may got him white collar corruption, you talk about all the way, but it is not because of diaspora. It is not because of some educated so much go overseas. No more, different reasons, and I don't want to get into because that's a different discussion. No good, you ask him, so why now white collar corruption? I stay away from that because I'm different discussion. All right. So you may got in poverty, but it's not because of deprivation of knowledge base, and not because of what the educated people what. Go overseas. No more, different something. Social enemy does not exist, but if it did, it would not be because of deprivation of knowledge base. All right, and then we say that the transnational diaspora counterbalanced the urge to go overseas, counterbalanced by what we call him organic diaspora, and by him discuss him. And then because we say diaspora deeply embedded in Samoans' indigenous epistemology, ontology of self, being and movement. In other words, the urge to go overseas him balanced, counterbalanced by what we call him organic diaspora, or intellectual mobility. We move within ourselves, in our minds. So it's a bit like this here, twofold here. Like when the urge to go over like transnational diaspora, want him high, organic diaspora, balance him. So twofold something, a balance. Because suppose transnational migration happen, and then no more organic diaspora, by him also stuck a Solomons by overseas. but because organic diaspora balance him to follow. All right. And then we say organic diaspora has to do with the fact that opportunities to enhance life causes are sought not from outside here, but from within you me. That's one difference we find in now. When you try for improve you rather than you look outside, we look within ourselves. So there's sort of a different, very critical, different approach to dealing with problems or modernization on some here. Instead of we may look outside, we may consult our intellectual and physical resources here. This kind also here. We look at what we have and build upon what we may got and finish here. Education, land, family, tribe, also here. And then we say here, this one here, we firmly anchored in indigenous epistemology of sustainability here. You may talk about sustainability. Then one fellow quote from another person we interviewed him say, only that which emerges from the doer's hand is hope to last here. Anything him give man him give him you, but him no last you can finish no more. Whereas something him appear from your own hand, him is have grow and have sustainable. Yeah. All right. All right, but we say a diaspora movement in search of life course enhancing opportunities is not global. We do not see it as global, but local, in our head, in our mind, in our body, like you also mean. And this one him counters or him go against in conventional wisdom that life course enhancing opportunities can only be found overseas here, which is what you find most of parts of the world here. Time people want them improve on something, they say you may go overseas because no anything here. You may solo him say, let's see what we have before you may pack him up family for go overseas. Let's see what you may got him. Land him stop no more. We have that. We always want to look within ourselves first time before you may look outside. All right. Okay, and then we say here, development is the result of human labor, not necessarily determined by geographical location here. So when you want them doing something, you may believe in ourselves here, like solo also. And this may happen, maybe true of other societies here, but research belum him solo. So I have no more me report him here. So you may believe that development or anything for improving you, him within human labor, yeah, within your own strength and your own power, your own power, yeah. Not necessarily determined by geographical location. You don't have to go to Los Angeles or New York to improve yourself. You try here first time. For this kind of nice. I like that because then it leaves you not dependent. All right. And then we just end up with some words here from Kwarai. But I want to show that no good some hear him something and say him all in English. What the words here, terminology blow him in English. Anything lo language to show that him is real. So him not me use himself all words blow Kwarai to anchor this well research in local in the local epistemology blow me. Me use him Kwarai no because him no me save but him lo language blow you follow yeah. What the words are what the values or principles here, ethics here. O kata sabar ko lo Kwarai garim, you follow garim too. No because him Kwarai no no more. Kwarai mo one for society lo Solomon no more yeah. So him na so kata. Let me say a great majority chose to stay home because of this something here. Tua Ifanoya, stay home in some islands, an island village here. Or Tua Nifuli, live in peace, live in place, space of one source, from whence one emerges. In other words, one's ontological space where you stop here. All right? Is there? Are we all right with time? Yeah? Okay, all right, good. And then, Tua Nifuli, live in place or space of one's origin that has effect, that's such an empowering effect. Right. Then Tua Lalifu, live in rootedness. Right. Tua Babatoa, live in stability. Tua Araro, live in peace, quietness. Tua Enoeno, live in humility. Then Tua Koima, live in kin love. Tua Fautoa, live with feet firmly grounded like a rock, firmly sitting on the ground. Tua Inotoa, live in dignity, importance. Tua Adofiko, live in togetherness or unity. Tua Sasalea, live in happiness. Tua Sulia Falafala, live according to the norms of custom, culture. Right? Tua Ali Afu Anga, live in completeness, or wholeness, or holism. Then we say Kining Wai Ali Afu, complete woman or man. And then final word now, or principle of value, hemi go moriangia, or live at the pinnacle or highest point in life. In other words, hemi like what we call referred to as indigenous moral social ontology. Now, in my ordinary talk with the friends, lo seeing you this time, some follow town no more, but even like going back before me start for interest of research here. Just thought with them people, me hear him this kind here. What islands do you mean? Oh, me forgot him all same here. Me forgot him all same here. Oh, very good. So, me use him here, but I know that you forgot him. And these are some of the principles that you may got him that me discourage me for like get on a plane tomorrow and go overseas also here. Leave him home here. Because we have these principles, they're very fundamental to us here. Okay, organic diaspora as intellectual and physical transformation. Me calls up finish now. Okay, members of kin group will pool resources together to start business in Honiara. Yeah, usually me also me. Instead me go first time me like group here me come. You me buy him taxi first time. Or let's build a house, then you me rent him. That kind of talk here. All right. Or members of the kin group start in business law village. It happens from my research. I'm sure it happens to other islands, but from my research, Solomon's, we do a lot more of this. So now you may no really feel like going overseas because we feel like we can do it here. You may say we're doing it here. Yeah. And the community get together and build centers of learning, schools, kindergarten, primary, secondary, also, yeah. Vocational training centers, adult education, literacy, mechanics. Happens other places, but from my travel around, reading literature, going to international conferences, me listen, but I think me for Solomon, I think me feel different a little bit, in a positive way. Right? Okay, so let me say, organic diaspora, intellectual diaspora, has to do with searching from within. Instead of we look all the way outside, we search from within here. So that we say here, intellectual diaspora transformed into physical activity in known and owned territory. Kin ties not severed, because him also me stop here, kin ties, him stop. Self and group identity, him intact, because he no run away all post to here. All right? And because of this knowledge and practice of indigenous culture, him grow and mature here, not compromised. Because when you leave, you go somewhere else. Knowledge him compromise here. Whereas because he stop. And I think one of the countries like Pacific here, where him indigenous culture, him like still in many ways very still organic. Whereas some fellow Pacific, when you may go, yeah, what's a cast of indigenous culture, but he very touristic, like, you know, for performance local tourists also. It's nice, but for someone like me, I want the real thing. Yeah, I want the real culture. Where is it? Show me the real culture. I think he still got him this one year. Yeah. And then we say tour achievement of tour Ali Afuanga live in completely metal finish, yeah. And then Gua Mori Anga, indigenous moral social ontology. We have these values. That's why you may know rush to going overseas here. And then you might say, okay, if there's organic diaspora, how? You may got him in organic diaspora too? Yeah. You may got him. Some follow you may got to engage this one. Yeah. And then we call him Kora again, Tuoli Liu. You leave or go from place to place here. Live restlessly. You may got him this one. Yeah. Or to Aisala, live with feet suspended, like feet not firmly on ground. Okay. Or to Malafakaanga, live in imitation of life brought by the ships, or what we call it modernization also. Fono in Kora means close or conclude. All right. So me say here the diaspora for Yumi, for Solomon Islands, based on my data. I mean, it might be. It's not simply a relocation of physical social space here. It's something deeper than that. When Samfal lo Yumi engaged with him, they've explored all the possibilities. They have uncovered all the grounds also here. So that it's not just another emplacement. They just move from Honiara or Gilbert Cam, Golo, Port Villa. For Yumi, it's not just that. It's not. That's too superficial for Yumi lo Solo. Or the abandonment of family in acceptance of or search for the better familiar. Rather, me say here, culturally and spiritually informed and done with dignity. So when the Yumi lo Solo, when we finally decided on going overseas, it's done culturally and spiritually informed. It's informed by culture and spiritually, Yumi, all right? And done with dignity. And that is deeply embedded in indigenous epistemology, like theory, knowledge, indigenous hermeneutics, how we interpret in life, and social ontology, why you missed up. All right? And then Hem Noma, Tagatumas, a big smile for all of you. Thank you very much for paying attention. Okay, I didn't catch it, so I didn't catch all of it, so let me give response rather than answer also me. Yeah? I think when me tell the reason why you mean to migrate, yeah, because even though you may, like other groups, you may run into difficulties also me, but rather than always first looking outside, oh, me poor, me go overseas also me. Rather than jumping to that conclusion here, you may look within you yourself for the first time. We spend a bit more time engaging in dialogue with the tribe, land, so land here, how I mean, good you may build fence about bull Macau or you may build him stalls. What is the general situation with some fellow world here? Most people are engaged in international diaspora here. When something is not la home. And then, true, because some fellow say Middle Eastern societies, some fellow stop lo desert here. So when desert doesn't produce food or water or all same here, you have to move away somewhere now because desert it's not something that you make overcome here. I mean, big boss make him come now. So him sand nothing no more. Him hard for build him. So people must move now. You mean so like what the conditions may be different a little bit. And I'm not saying that we cannot move. Some people believe me overseas finish. I mean, a long time now. But I think what I'm trying to say here, this whole talk based on data, research here, is that you may not jump to conclusion for go overseas first time. We don't do that. You may look within you first time. Talk with our tribal group, look in land, before you may decide. Suppose you may, and then suppose you may finally decide for move overseas means I may something no good, but critical now, yeah. And also when you may move overseas, solo, extended family, even if not tribe, at least tribe, extended family, he must agree with him, yeah. You may cannot just pack up, no more you may go. Which is the case with some other cultures, yeah. Pack up, go, because war, because catastrophe also, yeah. So I'm trying to say that conditions here are different a little bit. That determines the desire to engage in transnational diaspora, yeah. Different a little bit. Yeah, is that what you? Like I said, have me respond and not an answer, yeah, because I didn't quite catch your point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Gegeo, for that presentation. My name is Israel Trevor Sibia. I am a church worker, but as well a person with a passion with the community. So I work with community development, mainly lo Central Goro Canal. I agree with much of the presentation, and me identify with him too. And I also agree that it is a work in progress, because I would like to see myself as a partner with him. What now? What can you do him here, Los Solomon Islands in the long term, if that's possible? What me like for maybe ask in line with him is to take the focus of what you have talked about, come down to the subcultural setting Los Solomon Islands. Take for example, if you take him everything you talk about him and you zoom him to different subcultures within Malaita or within Guadalcanal. So for making this one clear more, my aunt was here earlier on, Dr. Patricia Rodi. Both of us are from the same tribe, Lo Malango, Central Guadalcanal. She is a woman and me man. He married outside, me married outside too. He married Lo Western Province, me married Lo East Quara and Tobaita. So here is the dynamic that me look him and me look him now, especially on the prediction of future. Me notice him that because my auntie is a woman and the culture that me twalas taplohem hemi matrilineal, picking in Blahem by owning land inside Logoro Canal. And that is a huge factor for preventing diaspora. Now, picking in Blomi, Bahem different. Bahem no own any land Logoro Canal side because Mam Blahem am from Kwarai and half Tobaita. Now, it is still a small case at the moment, but I can see in the future, within the context of Central Guadalcanal, that this number of Bahem grow because of intermarriage. So I am seeing with my small kids now, there's some sense of you're not feeling part of the community and the culture because you do not belong to any tribe. I understand that if you are, there are certain ways within the culture where you can be taken in, be part of a tribe, but is that really enforced or is that really encouraged or accepted by the wider tribal community? Now, so my point is this, and my question, is there a way through the future, as we look inside local culture, subcultures, Bloomy, to provide an avenue for these children, whereby part locals bloom, but maybe by no longer partly, because me looking that they have a very high tendency one day for move out and create a life for their own. So is there a way? So that is why for me, Selava, I want to do a study, a Bachelor of Sociology now, with the thinking that one day doing masters and doing a thesis, law traditional governance, law Malango, and to try to bring them about and say that, okay, most of these systems were created by chiefs. We can amend these systems and create them a way for these people for be part of the culture. So I'm pursuing that pathway now, but for the bigger pictures we talk about him today, for our people in policy making now and traditional governance experts now, is there a way for us to consider and look at this one? Thank you.
Okay, all right. Very good question, yeah. It falls outside a little bit of, because what, in the end, what children feel a bit out of place within Guadalcanal because of matrilineal, yeah. And what come from Kwarai and by Koyo, Tobeta, where what patrilineal, yeah. That one have internal issue, yeah, rather than external, or maybe someone by move out because of this for the discomfort of what feel him, yeah. It may be a cause for what leave him Solomon Islands also for go overseas. Yeah, it's something that you're right. Something that what the policymakers blow me need for local him to see what kind of remedy na by me or what approaches na by me savi put in place policies make him not stop him but amend him, make sure that because your case is not the only case here. Staka, yeah, also me. And all that is to say that if Staka are the cases also yours, like the cross-island marriages here, but he may pose the tendency, oppose him inclination for either what go back island local or what go overseas, also me. Because whether they suppose what go back low island or got to back, what say you fall blow away, yeah. Mommy blow me or daddy blow me blow guale or blow renbel or blow also me. So it's going to be an issue, yeah. But I think, like you say, it has. I think the answer lies within our policymakers. But then sometimes we put too much emphasis on policymakers, also me, because issues also may have got cultural, yeah, or got indigenous issues here. So I think best for the community for talk about issues also me to make prediction, not prediction, but to make sure that we got to know develop into real problems because they have the potential for division, yeah. Issues also me. I mean, like the people in Bologna got half Samoa, yeah. And I got to say, I got to start for Totong. So where do I belong? And I got because I got no even like don't have anything to identify with here, not even language because Mami he Malaysia Thomas him no speak language Samoa local, and then me stop lo he me no speak Kwarai or Pidgin local. So I got to feel a bit like your kids. And say, who are we? What's our identity? We don't even have a language that we can identify with. We have English, but that's not our language. So these kinds of issues, questions, it can pave the way for future problems here. But I think we can ameliorate potential for problems here by talking with our people and holding more the community discussion. Like me for lokorai, me for kolim garimon, me for kolim fa amanataanga, like counseling. So issues also me for counseling him. Kwarai garim that one. I'm sure other islands garim too, like indigenous counseling here, about issues also. You should dress. That's one thing I think you should resurrect him here, instead of replacing with Western design policies. I think we need to fall back on and resurrect him ways of dealing with differences here. Because if we have them now, I'm sure what ancestors what got him before too here, but somehow they ameliorated, somehow they solve them what issues here. Well, how now got solve them here? That's what my work is about here. That what me using this indigenous epistemology. How now me theorize here? So very important question, one that poses potential for division, not only but within country as a whole, because Staka people married outside here, of their own communities here. And maybe it's a difference that maybe what married where he patrilineal rather than matrilineal here. But suppose anybody where he married lo Isabel, Isabel matrilineal too here. By our case also him come up too here. So it's going to be a national challenge here, domestic challenge with him here. But my very strong inclination is to not run to policies, but try to see, because these are indigenous issues, local issues. You may try to deal with them from the standpoint of our own indigenous knowledge here, because I believe indigenous knowledge got in power. If anything, much more than design policies, because one thing me trust in indigenous knowledge now is that it's been with us for the last, who knows, I mean, what people blame me come solo 40 to 60,000 years ago, yeah, and for some reason, somehow, what doing something right here, despite we call them what a primitive also, yeah, they did something right. Otherwise, you and I would not be here today, but also, yeah. So my strongest, or if there's an answer that I would give to your question, would be let's fall back on indigenous knowledge, talk with them, communities about what issues also me. Because the discomfort of your kids here, or children below you, not being patrilineal, it's experienced by some other families here of the same nature also me. But somehow I still very strongly feel that indigenous knowledge, you should look at him first time. And then if he fail, then he may designing policies here. But suppose he may designing policies here. I mean, if we design policies and informed by custom, then I say, yeah, you may do also. But suppose he may designing policies based on what he may call modern knowledge, but him no waka ya, because him become become technical rather than epistemic, with that knowledge. So I'm for epistemic, like knowledge, rather than technical. So very good question. But then also me like you work in a community, but finns in master of sociology. By you know, but I like it. I think I like the idea that we need to be resurrecting our indigenous ways of counseling, talking, settling disputes also. Thank you.
Okay, me said I'm going up to #1 na. Me says takalo yumi garang question, but by yumi need for stickler time too ya. Yeah. So by me give him chance for one more question, I think. Okay, yeah. I think Dr. Luke came like stand up come today first time. So please, if you say come up, by me probably give him one more question. If you may still like ask him, probably if Dr. Hem still got time by refreshment outside, please you say come and ask him some questions, Lem. But Dr. Luke, thank you.
Thank you, Calvin. Anyway, thank you today for Dr. Wilson Gegeo for giving this talk here a little bit, enlighten me a little bit. I think by me giving a little bit comment, no, probably by me help him to set him some light or something to talk about today. But before that one, me just like for making one and probably no right for me answer on your behalf. But this is first man will stand up for ask him a question. If me understand him properly, one him Dr. Wilson Gegeo tell him, the answer is no. Yeah, the answer is no because like case law 1949, yeah. You tell him that Ottawa garem pixelen, Ottawa America, Ottawa garem less, go Taiwan or the neighboring countries. Statement when tell him today by Mosemba. There were some predictions made just after this ethnic tension that by me garem by Blumi ran away. That didn't happen. And on that note, to me like for a little bit comment lim. Based on a little bit small experience, may spend him me garem time when me stay low USP low what ba? Around early 2000, which is really him sort of line up with him what I tell him today. What is really unusual about the students blooming the Solomon Islands, where to go and some follow to become what Maido and walk overseas, some follow work they come back, is that you tend for harem now. Everyone to talk no more about solo. And for come back, and which you never hear him any other group low Pacific, yeah. So maybe something you talk about him probably true. And for me on a personal level, me remember lo early 2000, time me go me a little bit disappointed a little bit yeah, after tension. Ting blow me by me go for good no come back more. Me arrive there, I think I'm been 1 month 2 months no more. Me ting blow me for come back. And this one hold true. There's a lot of people here. Yeah? Maybe you and Fala, Dr. Fitolo here. There's a lot of us will come back. That one seem to something common everyone where you don't find with him a lot of other people of other countries. So me just comment no more. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think let me give one last chance for you, one question from you. Try to keep him short and to the point, and then let me end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Name Francis. Me side academic background. Me master's law, cultural politics, and currently I'm looking forward to completing PhD with the professor. The question me like for raising Kamlo Yunuma professor is as a phenomenon by him grow here. How much lo Yumi lo Solomon Islands by jump on board lo that phenomenon, I'm not sure. But from you, Seleva, do you see it as a thing that could be encouraged into Solomon Islands, or should it be discouraged? Whether we are talking about community or tribal mechanisms for using, or talking about policies for using, but should it be a phenomenon for Yumi try and encourage him within people below Yumi, or discourage him? That's like for minimum no more. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dr. Luke, for point of view, and then Francis. I think it's a phenomenon. That's a mouthful. It's bound to happen, also, I would not say should it be encouraged. I would not say that. I say no, but you mean. I think let it run its course. It's bound to happen. People believe me. Once they have tasted it, I think you're talking about diaspora. Yeah. No, I would not say you may encourage him. I would not say that. You may try do as much as we can to at least slow it down. Slow down space where him happen, because it's a human thing here, going all the way back to our early human evolution also here. So I don't think it's bound to happen, not because of that, because that's an inevitability. The thing to do is to try to do something to slow down the pace. Now, having said that, there are some good things about it. Let me say, there's something to be gained from. Only to be gained from the engagement in diaspora. Yeah. Only if our people come back. Because suppose they would not come back. That's our loss blow, you mean? And we don't have a population to lose here. I mean, we 700,000 no more. Yeah. And what the education level below him is still low. And so if we do something to encourage and what educated people you may go overseas, yeah, brava deprivation yeah. So I would not, to answer your question, should we encourage? I said no, I would not. I would not encourage it. But it's bound to take its place anyway, to take its course, yeah, because it's human, something human also, yeah. And so I would rather say no to it. Like, let's try as much as possible to do what we've been doing so far, yeah. To go overseas, get an education, come back, also, yeah. Because, but I think also Dr. Luke say, and some fellows say, there's something in us that still yearn for home, that we must stop overseas, yeah. We still want to come back home, yeah. I mean, we stopped in America for 40 years, yeah. Homesick all the way, yeah. I mean, something is happening. I mean, like, while I talk to some of my friends from the Caribbean, Africa, other parts of the world, yeah, I want to feel like, gee, America is great. Nice one. I mean, like, wealthy country, everything's there. I mean, but me always feel like, I've always felt like a stranger. I mean, let's put it that way. I've always feel like a stranger. America, New Zealand, and even Fiji. So if I'm feeling that way, and if other Somalians are feeling that way too, I would say that's good, yeah, because there's something about home. Something, I think our connection to land, home, tribe, clan, village, and we're still strong. And then we say, while it's still strong, let's try and keep it away, keep the status quo, because it's bound to happen anyway, it's bound to change. Change is inevitable here. So you mean, while we have this nice, good state now, let's try and keep it. Also, yeah.